Hey, what's going on, my friend? Welcome back to the School of Impact podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through a mini training on my exact marketing plan that took my online fitness business, not my business now, but my online fitness business, from when I was stuck around that like $5,000 to $8,000 per month mark up to $30,000 per month consistently. All right. Now, the reason I'm sharing this episode is because I know there's a lot of people who are listening who are kind of stuck in that like under 10K per month mark. And I just know that like I did it in my fitness business. I want to be able to share with you the stuff that I did in hopes that it'll help give you some clarity on some of the steps and things that you can take. Of information out there, just like somebody's trying to lose weight, there's somebody's trying to do whatever, right? There's just so much information out there. And so my hope today is to not add to the noise, but to just like give you from my own experience, like what's worked. And so if it resonates with you, you can apply some of the things that I'm sharing with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then no big deal, just don't apply anything, right? So with that said, I'm going to dive on in. Now I will share my screen in this episode. So if you happen to be listening on the podcast and you want to get the video version of this, just head on over to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find it there. If not, I will always do my best to share or to like literally talk through this in as much detail as possible so that even if you're listening, you can get as much value from this as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump on into this. Now, this is important to note that when I got to 30K per month, it was not using ads. I have since started using ads, even in like I'm using ads now on top of our organic content systems. But this was like I had no groups, I had no ads. I did all of this for my personal profile. Well, actually, it's not true. I did start a group before I got here, but the group really didn't produce much for us. So I would say about 90% of like the leads and clients in our online fitness business, kind of dissimilar now, came from our personal Facebook profile. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, I'm going to leave no stone unturned today. Like I just want to be able to give value to you and be able to give you clarity and save you time from learning from my mistakes and successes. You know, like there was things that we did wrong along the way. And I just feel like it is my duty, and I feel like it's your duty too, right? Like, so if you're a coach and you're helping somebody, for you to be able to go and like, give to your audience, like some of the mistakes that you made, right? What were the mistakes that you made along the way in your journey, right? What were the things that worked for you? You know what I'm saying? And just like help people, save them time, save them frustration, save them like from, suffering. And that's what I'm going to do. So hold on. I just lost my screen. All right. Let me come on back. All right. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, this is for really just being transparent here. Like if you're not working and doing anything, like meaning you're not like trying to post content, you're not trying to grow, you're just kind of like a victim and just hanging out, doing nothing. Like, you're not going to probably get a lot from this training because you're probably not going to do anything with it anyway. So who I'm really speaking to right now is like the person, the coach, the business owner that's already trying. You're already out there trying to grow. You just happen to be kind of like, quote unquote, stuck in this area. And stuck, the feeling of stuck is an illusion, but nonetheless, it still sucks when we're feeling it, right? And so if you're already out there like doing marketing, posting content, you're trying things, you're DMing people, this training will be mega valuable for you. If you're not trying, you're not doing anything, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you just got to go do some stuff and hopefully you'll get some feedback. All right. So, and then I just want to show you some like real-time results, especially if you're new into my world and you're like, why should I listen to you, Jason? Well, these are like other people that are applying some of these same marketing strategies and principles that I'm teaching. These are some of the results that they're getting, just so you can see that other humans are doing this and they're hitting, really kind of cool milestones and numbers inside of their business as well. In case you're new to my world and you have no idea who I am, I'm going to keep this really short and brief because I know you're here from the title of this episode, to learn these marketing strategies and principles. And I want to respect that, and I want to respect your time. But if you're like, who is this dude? First time I heard about you, man. Well, long story short is I used to be a firefighter. That was my first kind of real job, my real career. And I did that for about 7.5 years. And so one day I was responding to a house fire, and it was a fully involved structure fire, like flames coming out of this house. I was a junior firefighter at the time, so I made entry into the house. This was November 28, 2009 to be exact. And when we were in the house, we were doing a search and rescue. We were looking for 2 people that were trapped inside of this structure. And lo and behold, there was a problem, right, with the wiring of the house. And so we thought the electricity was off, but it wasn't. These 2 brothers were stealing electricity. It was a mobile home park, right? And so there were some unlawful practices that were going down in this particular park. And so I got electrocuted, long story short, right? I got electrocuted. I was knocked out. I was rushed to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 3 days being pumped with fluid, and like my liver and kidneys were so dehydrated. And I share this with you because this is what I was super out of shape at the time. You know, firefighters eat good, good cooking in the kitchen. And so like I was really out of shape, and this is what spiraled me to get into fitness. You know, I got myself in shape, got my crewmates in shape. And that led me to leaving the fire department and going and starting training. Got certified as a trainer, started working in a big box gym. LA Fitness is the gym I worked in. And then I started running my own boot camps, which, you know, over a couple of years led me to opening up my own gym, which was South Florida's only outdoor fitness center. And we were able to build that over the span of about 5 years to over 300 members. And we had so much attention going on in that gym that like we had investors like that were interested in investing in us. And so we accepted one offer from an investor. He invested about 60,000. I put in about 30. And then we invested in franchising our gym concept, our outdoor fitness concept. Again, long story short here, story probably for another time. And in fact, I've done training. So if you're interested in hearing this story, you know, I'm happy to share it with you in more detail. But long story short, I made a bad decision. Like we weren't ready for franchising like we thought we were. And so like there was just too many holes in the business and our systems. And so we ended up like spiraling out of control. We were losing members. It was not good. We were losing staff. It was a bad situation. It was a really bad mistake. And I ended up going negative 45K in debt. Right. And this was right around the time, you know, when it rains, it pours, that my firstborn, Ava, was born. And I remember being in the hospital with less than no money, you know, it was like the happiest time of my life, but also the most stressed time, right? Because I was like a newborn baby, like I'm in love. And then I was like broke as hell, right? And like no money to pay for a child, like to have it, you don't know, it's such like a weird time. And, you know, a few days after that, I was sitting inside of my truck in my gym parking lot and like just literally bawling down tears, just like grown ass man, just crying. And I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I'm a crappy father. Like, is this the kind of person I'm gonna be? And it gave me this thought, and I was like, no, it's not. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna figure this out. And I share this with you because this is like what really this is like this epiphany moment for me. I started, I went out for this like dream of mine to get onto American Ninja Warrior, and long story short, I ended up getting on the show. And to get on the show, you submit a 3-minute video where you're just talking through your story, you show your skills, you have some energy. You know, it's television, right? And you know, after a little bit, I got on the show and I was able to talk with one of the main producers of the show, who gave me like a lot of these golden nuggets, right? A lot of these golden nuggets to television and to like capturing attention. And I was able to apply a lot of this stuff into my marketing, right? And this is when things started to really take off, because I started an online fitness business around, you know, this is, you know, fast forward time, right? It's around 2019. Started an online fitness business, and I started applying these things, and I started to take off. Like, business started to grow, and we built a multiple 6-figure online fitness business in under 14 months, using this plan that I'm about to show you. But a lot of it, and I share this with you because a lot of it came from a lot of these principles that I started to apply. And then over the course of a couple of years, I developed strategies around them. And, you know, I learned tactical things from like mentors, and it was like, ever since then, things have been crazy. And we've now since taught this strategy to over 100 and at this time probably over I think we're over 200, but what I put down here is 150. But I think since I've actually created this document where we've helped over 200 with the same process. Okay, so this is me, my family. So now you know me if you didn't. All right. So some mistakes that I made along the way. I want to share the mistakes first because before the plan, because you might be doing these, and sometimes it's what we let go of so much as what we are adding into our life. And so some of the mistakes that I made are doing things out of order, right? So mistake number one is doing things out of order, right? So I was trying to do scale, quote unquote, scale activities when I was under 15K month, right? So this is things like building websites, landing pages, trying to crack the paid ads code. I was doing so many things that were just they were the right things to do, but at the wrong time, right? I was focused too much on doing, but not so much on my mindset, aka my thinking and my emotional state, right? If you're listening to this and if you're in the health and fitness space or whatever, you probably know that mindset's really important. It is, and it's really everything. And I was so focused on just doing things, right? And being caught in the grind that it burned me out. And it didn't really work. It kept me stuck below 6 figures. And then a big mistake that it used to work when I first started in 2019, at least the online side of things in 2019, is just posting content daily and or giving out info. Just pretty much just teaching as a way to give value. But what I've learned and what is actually true, if you think about it now, statistically speaking, it's true. Factually speaking, is just there's so many people online, right? There's since COVID, there's been over 1.3 billion people that have come online, and both business owner and consumer, and there's over 3,000 messages, per a recent study on social media, 3,000 social media posts being published every 3 minutes, right? So it's to be able to get attention, you got to do things differently than what is, commonly still being taught nowadays. So I see a lot of people making that big mistake, in their marketing. And then they're focused, I was focused too much on vanity metrics. I transparently, just be honest with you, I paid for followers at one point on Instagram. And I was really focused. I see people doing this with Reels. They're just so focused on just getting vanity, the vanity stuff. And that got me a ton of followers, but I had little cash flow coming in, And then getting caught in this trap of DMing 50 to 100 people a day, cold DMing, chasing every person who engaged with your content. I did a door-to-door sales. That's one of the things I did to grow my gym at first, was knocking door-to-door, handing out, gym flyers. Not for me. I've learned much better ways to do things, develop skill sets. This burns out you. This burns out your audience if you're doing these kind of tactics. And for me, it was a mistake. I think there's much more efficient ways to do things, right? And so the big insight that I've gotten, at least over this last year, that I'm hoping to, hand over to you, is that content has become such a commodity, right? So your audience doesn't value it the same way they did a few years ago, right? I look at content kind of like working out, just doing more activity, just sharing more stuff of what you're already doing. More volume isn't always the answer unless you're doing 0. Then of course you gotta get some volume. You gotta do volume to get good at the skill. But if you're already posting, if you're already doing it, right? If you're already doing the content, you're it's not the volume, it's the strategy, right? It's the strategy you're going into. Similar to working out. Or similar to nutrition, right? To a nutrition plan. If somebody's I'm trying to do this, and they're just I'm dieting, I'm eating healthy food, or I'm doing more cardio. Sometimes it's about the strategy, not the activity. Am I right? And that's the same concept here, right? And so here are the steps that I took to generating 30K cash collected. We have these actually have taken us past 30K cash collected, but I want to share from my lived experience in my fitness business, this is what took us 30K cash collected. We've done more steps to get to we just recently did $113,000 a month, and there are different. We've pretty much done all of this and then some, to continue to grow. So I just want to be transparent. So step number 1 is mindset management. I know I put this number 1 and hopefully I don't get a bunch of click offs of people being woo woo, whatever. But I'm just trying to be real and truthful. And the mindset management is one of the things that has allowed me to continually grow and scale my business, is managing my thinking, changing my identity, my belief system, and being able to manage my emotional state, not go from this place of overwhelm or anxiety or worry, but being able to just be like courageous. I'm not like Tony Robbins and like, and this enlightened being, but just being able to like just be kind of neutral and just feeling good, right? Like that's been one of the things that's helped. And then being able to sharpen our message. And I'll dive more into this in just a second. I'm just kind of giving you the high level, and then we'll break each one of these down. Number 3 was building a strategic content system. This has by far been a game changer when it comes to like our content strategy. It's like not doing like one-off posts anymore, but like actually building out sequences of content. And then step 4 is like actually mastering the money-making moves, aka these are like the money-making skills to growing a business. And so when you learn the actual skill sets necessary, I have one person that I know, it helped like just like literally these 4 things brought them to $1 million a year. I know that's like could be a whoa for like some people, but I'm just telling you, like I've seen it happen. It didn't happen that way for me personally, but I've seen it happen with other people that I've shared this with, where they've hit $1 million. I'm like, whoa, just doing these 4 things, like no paid ads, having one team member. And so I'm going to share this stuff with you. So, even if you got to a fraction of it, like 15 or 20 or 30K or 40K, whatever, like it's really good, or whatever it is your goal is. And so there are a few phases that we went through, and I want to share these phases with you just so you can have an idea of where you are on this like mountain, right? So phase number 1 was like just like learning how to like truly focus, right? And there was like a lot of like you just needed to get clear on like our messaging, our positioning, the content that we would use, things like that. Then we needed stand out, and this is when we really needed to like overcome any fear of rejection. This is when I needed to come over fear of rejection, failure, and to really enhance the performance of my content and of my KPIs, right? And then there was the monetize phase, right? So this got me to around 20K. This is when I started to like really figure out how to like consistently generate leads with our content and be able to, more predictably get clients coming in. And then we got to like this kind of scale phase, and that's where we got to like 30 to 50K. And that was just really, I started to, around this time, I started to, and again, I'm going to break this down in some more detail, but it started to allow us to like hire a team member. So I hired somebody to help with our coaching, which freed me up to do more marketing and things like that. And that's around that like the 30 to 50K. But what I'm going to share with you today will get you to, I don't know your price points or anything like that. It got me to 30K per month. So I'm hoping that it'll also help, give you some clarity in what you should be doing. Okay. So what I want to share with you in let me see if I can pull this up right now, and then I'll talk you through this if you're listening. Okay. So I'm going to show you the process that I've kind of developed, and then we'll kind of go through each one of those steps that I just outlined. And so I'm sharing this process so you can kind of get an idea of like where you fit in currently right now in your business. So we call this the conversion content method. And you also hear me sometimes refer to it just like our in-demand coach methodology. But the first thing that you have to do outside of like the mindset stuff we talked about is sharpen up your message, right? This is right here, number 1. You sharpen up your message, okay? And what I mean by that, and I'll explain more in depth here in just a moment, so hang tight. Number 2 is you got to have a strategy for growth. You got to know how you're driving traffic or leads and stuff to your organic page. I'll give you some strategies here in just a moment, but it's something that's very important for you to understand. All right, you got to have a strategy for the growth, not just like hoping that you'll grow. And then you got to monetize your content, and I'll show you what we're doing, what we did to do that. Then you got to be able to book calls or sell through chat, whatever your preferred method is. Then you have to have ways to consistently convert your audience evergreen. You have to have a monthly planning process to like how you're going to be going about doing this on a regular basis. You've got to maximize your engagement, like meaning your hooks, your call to actions, your headlines, your storytelling, right? Then number 8 is you got to be able to break beliefs in your audience on a regular basis and align them with your truth, your beliefs. And then from there, you expand your reach. And this is like the model that we've taken now over, at the time recording is like, we're over like 200 people that we've actually taken this through. So I want to show you that so you can kind of see where you fit in. Like Do you think, like, are you feeling connected with your audience? Are you already converting, but just not consistently? Or are you like feeling like you need help with like captivating, like you need to help keep people's attention? Like just having an understanding of kind of where you fit in, I think will be super helpful for you to be able to like kind of internalize some of these steps that we're walking through. So let me go ahead and take you through them right now. We're gonna breeze through this phase. So if you're currently under 5K, you know, it's gonna be really cut and clear. I want to spend a little bit more time on the going from 5K to 30K and what we did. So for us, like the biggest challenge, and likely it'll be for you, I'm speaking from my own experience here. For us, it was like we were like you're likely an expert in an area like fitness, nutrition, etc. However, you're yet to find a valuable offer to put together. And most of the time, a lot of fear and other mindset blocks kind of like pop up. And when I overcame this and like started to learn how to communicate my offer, my message to people, and kind of overcame a lot of the initial fears, I was able to grow. So real simply here, like how to grow, it's not, I mean, I would say, like I said the word simple. It is simple to do, but it isn't easy all the time. But like overcoming mindset blocks, like the fear of being an imposter, afraid to charge for your program, afraid of posting content or feeling judged, having lots of self-doubt, right? You got to overcome some of these blocks. And there are certainly a lot of tools and ways that you can go about doing that. Number two is you got to nail your niche and your message to market. There's like usually a mismatch. You want to be able to nail that and fix that. So pretty much you want to speak to one specific avatar with a specific problem to solve. And then you validate your offer by doing a beta launch. You just see if like people want it, right? And then you can like tweak up the offer and the messaging if people don't. Right? And then the money making skills, you just simply got to like start to manage your thinking and state so you get out of your own way. You want to start posting content and going live, just kind of getting some volume out there. Then you want to be able to book at least one call a day, start to like learn how to close sales and be able to start delivering results, right? Like that's all you need to do. I have an entire beta launch process. I'm happy to share with you. Just reach out if you're interested in seeing our beta launch process. Now, here's where I wanted to spend a little bit more time. And so this is like what I call an infancy stage. This is where you're around that 5K and your goal is to try to get upwards towards around 30K cash collected, right? The biggest challenge for us at this phase, and what I see for a lot of people that come to me for help, is generating enough consistent, is the keyword, leads to be able to book calls or sign clients on a regular basis. This is the number one challenge that a lot of people face here. And so how to grow, you know, you got to sharpen up your brand messaging and positioning, right? And so this is like the first thing that I help in-demand coach students do whenever I work with them, right? And to give you a little context here, like there are levels to this, and this is an evolving thing that you will continually do for a long time in your business. But you want to get specific on like the pain that you're solving, right? Like, so for us, it was like they were stuck in a weight loss plateau for 3 months or longer, and they had a lot of body fat issues going on. And you see me checking up here. I'm going to have to pause this and come back because my computer is about to die. So 3, 2, 1. All right. So little sidetracked here. You know, when you're in like mega flow and then like something happens, like your MacBook is not charging. That just happened. Whatever. Things take place. So let's go ahead and dive right back in. And so sharpening up the message, as I was alluding to, but before I had to get my Mac charged up a little bit, was specific pain, right? Specific action they're taking to solve that pain, right? Things like perhaps dieting on Weight Watchers, right? So the key here is getting specific, right? Specific beliefs that they may have to why they're doing these actions, right? So if I know like there is a fitness coach that is posting content every day and DMing people, he may think or she may think that doing that is the best way to get clients, right? And so people are doing certain actions or certain things not because they want to, because they believe that if they do it, it will get them a result. So we have to know what these false beliefs that people are thinking, you know, the transformation they want. This is a little bit more advanced that I teach inside the In-Demand Coach, but it's coming up with a villain, naming your solution, crafting a new belief that you can help teach to your audience, aka this is going to be your truth, and then coming up with a solid hero message statement, right? So you got to sharpen up the messaging, right? And as I alluded to before, I believe I did, if I remember correctly, but like think about your messaging like a knife, right? And so like if you ever had like a dull knife or like even like a butter knife and you try to cut a strawberry and it slides right off the strawberry, right? It's so dull. But when you sharpen that knife up, it can like slice through like a freaking brick, right? And like that's what we want to do with our messaging in terms of like the words that you use to be able to stand out, to cut through all of the noise on social media and stand out to your ideal client. That's so powerful. This is, my friend, the 5% that will produce 95% of your results when it comes to your marketing. Now, so important to get down. Now, the second thing we did in our marketing plan, so like none of the marketing, I'm being transparent here, would work if we didn't have the right positioning and messaging. So I don't want you to brush that to the side. That is absolutely vital for your success, right? The second thing we did as part of this marketing plan was we came up with our conversion content system, right? And back in the day when I was first doing this, it was like literally 3 posts. And I kind of listed those 3 posts here, right? And I'll show them to you in a second. Nowadays, we have about 20 different content sequences that we've tested over the last like 3 to 4 years. And some work way better than others, but all of them work in producing leads. But the key here is in our content, or in our really general marketing plan, it's like knowing how to take that unique messaging, right, and infuse it into your content. That's the secret. Even if you're running like ads or whatever you're doing, like this is the key. And then you create sequences of content versus just one-off posts. Posting and praying like those one-off posts, it's like so outdated. Now we want to sequence our content together so that we're able to hit the right emotional and psychological triggers that we need to hit in our audience, right? And so this is a very beginner formula. In fact, this is really the first major content formula that I came up with in my online fitness business. And so, and I've now given this formula in different variations to over 150 people, right? And so what I would do, like on a Monday or Tuesday, I would do like what we call a raise hands post. A raise hands post is simply this could be done in various ways depending on platform. If it's like on Facebook, it could be like a color background post where you're getting really specific to a call to action, right? It's like, and let me pull up a quick example for you and I'll show it to you. All right, so here is an example of a raise hands post, right? This could be done in a lot of different ways. Like we've done this using Reels, we've done this using long form content, we've done this on Instagram, doing it in various ways. But the long and short of it is where you're essentially using a really good hook and call to action. Okay, and so you want to do some variation of raise hands posts. Again, we've given this to students, and we've personally done this this day and age with like Reels and a little bit longer form content. But nonetheless, the secret to a great raise hands post is in the hook, right? You got to have a really good hook, and in the call to action. Like if that is on point, like it will work no matter if you do it short form like that or long form or whatever. And then you have to have a shift beliefs post. So real simply, a shift beliefs post is a post where you are breaking people's in your audience's beliefs. So if we go back to this messaging, we want to be able to break the old belief patterns that they currently have and align them with the new brand belief that you are teaching and that you are essentially quote unquote selling, right? What is that belief? You got to shift the belief. Okay, and it could be long form, short form. This could be done in like a reel as well. Typically, we don't find. I find that like content with a picture or short form works better. And then we have our strategic lives. In fact, this is what probably most people came to know me for originally in the kind of fitness marketing space, was these kind of live videos. However, when you follow the right framework of a video to where you're addressing like all of this stuff, right? You're addressing like the frustrations, you're addressing the actions, the beliefs, things like that. And then you are, having a really good call to action, right? So you have to have a really good hook, really good call to action. And then you start to teach whatever your insights are, right? And then you have another call to action. If you do this effectively, you will get a lot of leads coming in. You'll get a lot of people coming in, okay? And so really, really powerful stuff. Now, we pretty much rinsed and repeated many versions of this type of strategy. Again, we have 20 different ones right now. There are some that are 4 posts long. We've had clients do it, where we've had them do like 6 or 7 post sequence together. The secret is in the messaging and sequencing out the content. This is one of the major things that we did in building out these content systems in our own business that brought us to the 30K per month mark. And in fact, my business is still using these in our business, and we're largely, this is what we teach people, is how to install. We teach people now in the In-Demand Coach how to we help them fix their positioning and their messaging so that it stands out and it cuts through all the noise and starts attracting more quality leads versus tire kickers. And then we help them build out these conversion content systems in their business so they have these actual systematic and predictable ways to generate leads and clients organically, Now, the third thing here is the enhancing the money-making moves. And so the money-making moves are going to be things like, these are skills, right? So think about habits for somebody that's trying to lose weight. These are skills that have to be developed in a business, right? So it's like conversion content. So speaking on camera, writing hooks, your call to actions, your storytelling, your influence. When you get really good at implementing the pieces of conversion content, the skill sets that go into it, you'll never have to worry about leads or money again. And then you got to get good at booking calls or selling through chat, whatever it is that your preferred mechanism is. We traditionally book calls still, but some people like to sell through chat, depending on price point and who your niche is. Nonetheless, you got to get good at it. You got to get good at closing sales, right? You should have at least a 50% minimum closing rate, right? 50%, depending on, again, this training is designed for somebody who wants to go to around 30K, right? So you got to have at least 50% conversion minimum, right? And if you're talking to enough people, if you're doing this correctly, you're going to be hitting a little bit of colder audience, and you'll be turning them into warmer leads. And then delivering results, of course, you got to collect testimonials. We have over 200 documented success stories at this point. We collect testimonials. So this is why we still grow, right? We grow really well based off referrals and because people just trust us because we produce results, right? And I think this is a missed thing. I think all of us are great as coaches, but there's a difference in helping people and literally delivering really good results for people, right? And then you got to drive humans, meaning you got to know how to drive traffic and eyeballs to your page. This can usually be done with no ads to get to 30K. And at least for me it was. I didn't use ads to get to 30K. And then number 4 is you want to set up a basic data tracking, a KPI tracker. We give one to our students, the ones that I use, that pretty much we want to track things like comments, hands raised from your conversion content, right? CCF stands for conversion content formula. These are just our fancy way of saying the sequences of content. We want to track meaningful conversations. I don't really care if you're starting 100 chats. It doesn't matter, right? That's not a great metric to track. What matters is you're tracking the meaningful conversations, meaning there's more than 3 back and forths, and it's actually a quality lead. That's what we want to actually track. And then sales calls booked, sales calls closed, totals cash collected, right? This will give you a lot of insight into what you should be doing and where you should be improving. In fact, when we work with our In-Demand Coach students, for example, we help them with this, right? So every single time they run one of their conversion content formulas, aka sequences of content, we are just it's let's look at the numbers. How many comments did your call to actions produce? How many meaningful conversations were started from that? How many calls were booked? How many sales calls were closed? How much total cash did you collect? Right? And so we have our students report. Chastity just reported back. She had $7,200 in sales on one of her last ones. So I was hey, Chastity, here's what we need to do. We need to be able to, let's sharpen up the hook. Let's get a better hook. Let's communicate the call to action better. And when you do that, you'll get more people responding, which will automatically be, she had great closing percentages, right? She had great everything. So it's let's just do better on the front end, and you'll be able to double the amount of inbound leads you get. And therefore you'll be able to produce, double to triple the sales, right? And that's what you got to do. And that's what brought me to 30K. And that's what's brought me to 113K per month, right? And it'll continue to help me grow to wherever we end up wanting to grow to, That's the key. And then, of course, to get to 30K, you might need a team. It just depends on you and your offer and what your skill sets are. For me, I had an admin assistant, you could do it with a virtual assistant. And I ended up getting an assistant coach closer to around, I believe we were around like 15 to 20K per month when I got like an assistant coach. That just for me helped give me more time, because we were getting so many clients that it was getting bogged down. So you might need to have like a little mini team in place, but you definitely don't need, personally, I didn't, and I'm just going to advise, I would never advise one of my students to hire like a setter agency or any of this, that kind of BS that's being thrown out there right now. There's like nobody that's going to be able to get you just magic clients. Like, you're going to have to learn these skills, and that's just the honest truth, right? So when you sharpen up your messaging in the positioning correctly, you develop these conversion content systems, like this is what I did, and then you start to master the money making skills, right? It's absolutely crucial. And then once you're doing that and you know that you're producing clients and you have a system, then you can start hiring out appointment setting and things like that, if you see fit, right? Okay. And so the last thing here, and I put this at the end, but this is really like the major thing, you got to upgrade your mindset, right? And so upgrading your mindset means like managing your thoughts and your emotional state. I'd argue that like if you can't learn how to do this, you either will burn out and likely quit, or you're just going to be miserable. And this was true for me, until I was able to learn how to like actually take control and polarize my thinking, meaning like the things that I was thinking, right? Because if you think about it like this, pun intended, right? What you think, right? When you think about it enough, it becomes a belief, and that forms your identity. You see what I'm saying? This is why like somebody that's overweight, if they don't change their thinking, they're always going to fall back into bad behavior and bad habit. Right? When you change what you think goes down into your nervous system, and it creates an emotional state, like a vibration, if you will, right? And this is science, literally. And then it causes the behavior. Like you'll be consistent with an action, you'll show up more powerfully, you'll be, it gives you more focus, right? You'll have a certain actions that you take, and those actions will produce the result. And so when we can go to work at changing the way we think, so if you're thinking like anything less than like what the person that you want to be, hence be, do, have, you got to change that thought. When you change that thinking, you then change your emotional state, the way your nervous system like vibrates emotion, and then you will change the results that you the things that you do, right? Or you'll just enhance them or become better at them, and therefore you'll get better results. And this is one of the major things that I did to produce a crap ton of results in my business, is by changing my upgrading my mindset, right? So the villain here is distraction. There's so many opportunities. Focusing on these 6 things is what took my business to 5K and to 30K, and quite frankly, well beyond 30K at this point. Yes, we do run ads now. Yes, I do have a little bit of a bigger team. Yes, there is some, like I've spoken on stages, and I've done a lot of joint ventures, right? So these are things that you can add along the way, but anything other than these 6 things above, for me, in my experience, was simply a major distraction in us producing sales and consistent leads. All right. So anyways, here are just a few more examples so you could see other people doing this in like real time instead of me just like talking through this. And, a recap here is you want to have, you craft your standout message, unique positioning for your marketing. Like this is the 5% that produces 95% of your results in your marketing. Then you build out a conversion content system. This is going to usually be 3 to 5 posts. Sometimes it could be more, but it's going to be a mix between things like raise hands post, as I explained, belief shifting post, build hype post, proof post, and strategic live trainings, which are the pillar. Then you DM interested people that are coming into you. You don't chase leads. You get good at booking calls from those leads, and then that come in from your conversion content. Then you make sales, change lives, track KPIs, improve bottlenecks. You just debrief and review your content 1 time a week is what we have our students do, and what I did. And you manage your mindset. Like you just get really good at focusing on these things and just getting executing upon them, and you will grow. Like you have to. Okay. Now, I know this is a lot. I shared a lot with you, and quite frankly, it is a lot, but it is simple as long as you stay focused. And so, if you like, I want to make sure that you're able to apply these things so you can start producing more consistent clients and income for your business, and you could do it in a way that's like more at peace and not stressful, because it sucks. I've been there. So if you have any questions, or if you would like support, or if you're interested in learning like how we help students in the In-Demand Coach program be able to create unique positioning and sharpen up their messaging, and how we help design and implement these conversion content systems into their businesses. If you're interested in having that happen, so you too can have more consistency with your lead generation, so you can have more predictability with signing up clients, and you can have that consistent, sustainable growth on your journey to whatever it is, whether you're trying to get to 20K or 30K or 40K or 50K or whatever it is. As long as you know you have that sustainability, that's what we do. That's what we teach people how to do inside the In-Demand Coach program. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just feel free to hit me up, shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and just say interested in the In-Demand Coach, and I will give you some details. Now, again, very just transparent, we keep a very tight-knit group, and so we cap our membership at 60 right now. This is what we choose to do, so we have plenty of resources and time to go really deep with people. Right now, at the time of recording this, I got to check our numbers, but I believe we're at we have now 48 current active clients in our program, and so we'll be taking on 12 more people over the next couple weeks. And if you're interested in being perhaps potentially one of those 12 people, obviously we have to have a conversation, and we'll have to evaluate if it's the right thing for you, and if you would be a good fit, and if we would be a good fit for you. You get what I'm saying, right? Both. Then you might be able to grab one of those spots. So if you're interested in learning more about potentially having us help you do these and apply these systems into your business, then just shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram and just let me know you're interested in the program, and I'll give you a one-pager with some details and answer any questions that you do have. All right, my friend, as always, remember, your message matters now more than it ever has before. There are people out there eating too much, depressed, living life well below their potential. But you, as a coach, you have a message inside of you, and that message contains a light. It contains a passion and enthusiasm for helping others. So don't be afraid to have the courage to stand up and speak it. Be seen, be heard, and be impactful.